Are you ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon.
Well, welcome to the Roundtable, everybody. My name is Robert Bannon, and you're listening to me on Broadway World over here on the Broadway Podcast Network, iHeart, Spotify. You know, our next guest, firstly, I don't know how she does it because she's got like 5 projects coming up literally across the country. So she's got a lot of things. Her resume must be like an ancient foreign language document because must be long and twisted and turning. I mean, she has done it all. If you read the email that they sent me about her amazing work, it'll tell you that she's a producer, a director, a dramaturg. But when you go deep into her background, I mean, she's been working with comedy legends, TV specials, award nominations. Did you see Richard Pryor and Rodney Dangerfield's do you know Sue? Does she sleep? Do you know that she's got 5? I need to know, what does she eat? And does she drink a lot of coffee? 5-hour energy drink? How does she do it? Sue Wolf, help me. I thought I was busy. She's here. Here she is.
No, you are so kind. Yes, I drink a lot of coffee from my company mug.
How did this start? How do you describe yourself?
I describe myself as a Renaissance woman because when I started in the business like a long time ago, I am an old person. I'm a grown-up. But I say I'm a geriatric Gen Xer. Because now, you're so cute. You're such a good audience. I retired at 56, and my friends were like, "Oh, don't want you do that." I'm like, "No, I won. And now I'm busier than ever, but I can do what I want to do." Robert, that is such a freeing thing. So, I started on All in the Family back in the day. I worked on All in the Family. I was a writer's assistant to Milt Josephsberg, Robert Schiller, and Robert Weisskopf. They did the I Love Lucy show. Can I tell you a weird story about Milt Josephsberg? He wrote the line for Jack Benny, "Your money or your life. I'm thinking it over." And Milt's walking down the hallway, and I'm Xeroxing, because that's what you did when you were 20. And he goes, "So, I'm going to tell you a story so funny you're going to laugh your tits off." And then he goes, "Oh, I see you already heard it." And he kept walking. Those are the guys that I got to work with in my 20s.
Showbiz. That was your intro to show business?
Xeroxing, yeah. And I was assistants to write. I was a writer's assistant. I worked in casting. I worked for Jane Murray and Pat Kirkland, who is, it was an incredible education. And I always say to young people, when they tell you to throw out the trash, go Xerox it.
That's the trick. That's how you stay a job. But then you moved.
I moved. So I was mad at my parents and boyfriend. So I was like, "I'm going to Los Angeles." And I drove cross country, and I slept in my car and washed in a doctor's office bathroom, which was hilarious on Wilshire. I literally parked in Beverly Hills and put my sleeping bag over my head and used a payphone. And I would call, and I would put the payphone down as my phone number. And then I'd stand at the payphone for like 3 hours, from like 5 to 8 or 4 to 7, whatever it was, and receive phone calls on the payphone. This was before cell phones. And I got a job in Norman Lear's company. And then I did game shows and loved theater my whole life. My whole life just wanted to do theater. So I was always doing theater by night. And my first thing in theater was Equus and Sign Language. My building manager, you'll love this weird story. 6 o'clock in the morning, I hear a power lawnmower under my window. And I go outside and I go, "What the fuck?" And she goes, "I'm deaf." I said, "Well, I'm not, and I'm asleep." And we became best friends. And she was doing Equus and Sign Language. Louis Merkin, Nancy Jagelski. And I learned sign language. That I started working with them. I directed it. We were all over TV back in the day, like on news shows and whatever, because we had a double cast. And in those days, the deaf community was like, no, you can't do, nudity on stage. And I'm like, "Why not? Don't you people have sex?" And they're like, so they were so excited by it that they kept coming back. And it was so unique in LA that we got a lot of press coverage, a lot. but I'm, so theater. I just love theater. I love it. I'd love to do it again. I'd love to do it with what's his name, Troy Kotzer. I would love to do that with him.
He was here, and we saw him at Tribeca, and then he was here, and it was fascinating to see him with an interpreter. But the way he is as an actor, and how you can emote, it's a lesson in acting to everybody. How you don't have to have words to show feelings, emotions, and you don't have to read sign language to understand. That's you. You did that back then. It's now a thing.
It's now a thing. The problem was for me, nobody knew what to do with the 22-year-old, young, I hate to say it, but like an Ava DuVernay, just somebody who was out there doing my own thing. And they just had no idea what to do with me. Nobody did. And in those days, to answer your question from a long time ago, in those days, you could only do one thing. You did game shows, you did game shows. You did sitcoms, you did sitcoms. That was it. Boom, you were done. And I was like, why? I don't want to do that. And my friends used to say, sorry.
No, please keep going.
My friends used to say, if you just pick one thing, you'd be at the top of your game. And I'm like, but I don't want to do one thing. I want to do a lot of different things. And theater was just not out in LA, man, No.
Did you, before we're going to get to all the theater that's coming up in a moment, but you also is your career synonymous also with comedy?
Well, I made the jump from network to cable because I was 29 and I wanted to produce. And they're like, well, maybe you can become an AP. And I'm like, pfft. And my friend, Robin Schlein, she was my HBO business partner for 8 years. She worked with Eddie Murphy, and Eddie Murphy had a deal at Paramount for television shows on HBO. And Eddie's assistants, Mark Corey and Clint Smith, two of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, called Robin and said, we're looking for a producer. She hangs up. I go, call him back, tell him we'll do it. So we go to a restaurant and meet them, and they go, they're twirling on the bar stools, and they're like, ooh, okay, you're hired. And we go into HBO, Robert, and they're like, oh, and what's your name? I'm like, Sue Wolf. What's your name, Ron? And that's how we got our first producing gig on HBO for Eddie Murphy's stand-up comedy special called Uptown Comedy Express. And it was the Eddie Murphy show without Eddie Murphy. His uncle Ray Murphy hosted it. Did I what?
The Eddie Murphy show with Uncle Ray Murphy, without Eddie Murphy.
Correct.
And you stayed at HBO for a minute.
Yeah, many minutes. And because we were able to, they had no idea who we were, literally. But because Eddie had power, he was doing Beverly Hills Cop at the time, they just kowtowed to him and let us be. They were like, oh, two crazy white ladies, whatever, who cares? And so they introduced us to Robin Williams and Billy Crystal's managers, David Steinberg. I loved him so much. He just passed away. And they recommended us for Women of the Night. See a theme there? Yeah. Black show, women's show. Right. And from that point, we sold the one night stands. We started doing those, and we touted comics that weren't Robin Williams and Billy Crystal. We said, let's do Dom Herrera, Paula Poundstone, Ellen DeGeneres. They were not huge names then. They were in the clubs, but they had a half-hour material. And so that's what we did. And that's kind of what I'd love to do with solo shows now. It's like, can we pick the second tier, the next in line? I get excited about new things, new people, new plays. I always say I don't like used plays.
Sue, that's why Sue retired at 50. She's lived, y'all. She invented HBO. That's what I'm saying.
I'm tired.
HBO on that.
HBO. I did not invent HBO.
I'm so sidetracked by this conversation because I don't understand. Like, this was not about Eddie Murphy, but as a kid, I loved Eddie Murphy so much that me and my brother, when there was DVDs, like we bought every Eddie Murphy movie DVD, the worst, the best. And my grandmother's cousin is a real estate agent who was a real estate agent with Eddie Murphy's mother. And she used to get Eddie Murphy and his family's Christmas card. And I saved them all because they were like very rich people, pillowy cards. I have them all. like a loser on my bookshelf.
No.
because
I
I'm
want to see them at some point off camera.
okay. I'm obsessed with Eddie Murphy. So, Sue,
Jersey.
I'm a Jersey boy.
I know. So I'm saying this. Uncle Ray lived in Jersey. They're like, come over to the crib.
Charlie lived in Jersey. Eddie lived in Jersey. They all anyway.
Right.
So Sue this is her chops, everybody. She's worked with everyone in the world. And now you do your TV. You say, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to retire. And then you do 5 shows this year.
I am funny. The funny thing is, Robert, I actually, before I talked to you, I was like, oh, I better write this stuff down because I need an assistant. I always say I need an assistant.
Your next show, you just did a show with Bill Harding.
Yes, at the Caveat Room. That's such a great room, too. He is so unique. He's so unique. And we're doing his show also at the United Solo Festival on November 20th. Come one, come all.
Why solo shows? Why do you love them?
Because they're so simple and they're so hard to do. They're so incredibly hard to do. They're the hardest thing to do because they're not stand-up. They're not, you have to paint a picture. You have to present a picture and you have to figure out it's usually someone's great story. Then you have to figure, how do we tell this great story? Do we do, how do we structure it? I just love Studs Terkel. Do you know who he is? Mm-hmm. I always loved working and that they made it into a musical, but it's like the unsung heroes. I want to know your story. I want to know the Robert Bannon story.
I'll give you my story.
I know. And I'm putting it together from your show, but it's like, you're the same. You just want to do it every day.
I'm fascinated by people and their journey. And when people say to me, why do you do so many interviews? Or maybe you should limit the No, everybody's got a story that I want to share. And yes, some people are really famous and some people are someone who decided to put a video on TikTok and got a lot of views. And how did that change your life? I just am curious.
Yes, me too. That's it. And my handle is Curious Wolf, the Curious Wolf.
Curious Wolf. And the links will be below so you can find out all the information about Sue Wolf, the Curious Wolf herself. And I want to hear about, so you have this show going on. You have the show that you just did with Bill, and that is going to be November 20th. And all the information will be below us while we're watching. It's a lot, Adventures in the Goo Age. Talk about comedians and all that fun stuff.
Yes. Do you know Beth Lapidus from Uncabaret?
Yes, I looked her up.
Okay. I love her so much. She's been doing Uncab for a really long time. Uncab's theory was you have to never have done it before and it has to be a true story. Okay. And Andy Dick and Bob Odenkirk and Kathy Griffin and Julia Sweeney and Dana Gould, all those guys came out of Uncab. They always did Uncab. And so we sold it to Comedy Central as a special. And that's how I met Beth. And then I did one person. So HBO used to throw me talent for the HBO workspace and say, are they ready? Are they drug addicts? Are they on time? Can they follow direction? Do they really write? Are they disciplined? And, the ones who got TV shows or became writers on staff, right? And Beth saw that I won for Best Director last year for L. James Backwards, Forwards, Back and Robin Colucci Intact. Both are returning. And so I started to get calls like, hey, what, you got to direct my show. And I'm like, I'm tired. And then, of course, the story was good. So she's doing this piece about just what is the new age. It's like, it's a lot. The new age is a lot, this time and place, right? Wouldn't you say?
It is. And how do you make sense of it?
Well, you dig and you take your journey and you take one step at a time and you open your heart and you go to comedy clubs to recharge somehow,
Yeah.
Your auntie Coco, right? Motorcycle, like you have to.
Oh my God, Sue really did watch me.
But I've not worked with her. She's hilarious.
Oh, you could work with her.
I know. I love comics. I love funny people. And I love not being funny and telling a story with some humor.
Yes, I do too. And I love comedian. If it's Lunel, if it's Sherry Shepherd, if it's Coco, like I just love people who can make me laugh and they can see the funny in all humanity because I think we need that more than ever. I'm obsessed with the I do a lot of cabaret, and that's like one person show with music. And if it's good,
Yes.
it can be really moving. And if it's bad, it's really bad. And what I find interesting about people telling their story, people don't understand, Sue. Like for me, I put an album out, and it's not about me, but I put an album out called Unfinished Business. I call it the divorce of my straight days. I got divorced at 31, and I came out at 33 while I was doing Rent, and the journey of being like, am I going to be gay, and who am I, and what does that mean, and what are people going to think? And I was identified as the husband of this particular person in the saga and the drama, and people were very amazed that people can tell their story on stage. It is a very vulnerable. It is not something people that are good at it make it look so easy, and it is very hard.
You have a one-person show in you. You do, for sure.
I'm ready soon. I'm going to tell it again.
Let's do it. Do it.
Let's do it.
That's interesting. You know what? I didn't know that about you. I didn't know that you were passing for straight.
Oh, and you know, I'm so butch, and you know everybody here. I mean, I know when you look at me, you just think ladies' man. And my and it all tied in together that I went to Juilliard and I dropped out for a woman and became a school teacher because I thought that I wouldn't be able to have a wife and kids and a picket fence and be in show business. So I left it all and came back at 33, which was why my album was called Unfinished Business.
Oh, I love it.
So this was never my intention. I'm a principal and the head of an English department. There's a story in everybody. And that's everybody.
Passing for straight. It's just a thought.
Oh, I'm in.
The title.
Passing for straight. Done. Okay, Sue. I'm ready.
It's
Call HBO.
Right?
So I want to shout out for It's a Lot, Adventures in the Goo Age is October 24th. What does it mean to be a dramaturg? And gaslighting is my love language.
That's Fielding Edlow. She is hilarious. And by the way, Robin Colucci, whose show is The Sixth, she's changing her show into more of a cabaret, which is interesting. Her elementary school teacher said, you come from a broken home. So her whole life was like trying to find an intact home. And it was just about, And
that's my New York friends.
That's going to be a cabaret version of it, which I'm excited to see. I'm not dramaturging with her, but as a one-person show director, Robert, you know that you are working overtime in the content department. And what I used to do with a couple of them back in the day was just take a small percentage of the writer's fee for the Broadway contract, right? Because I had a show that was off Broadway with Kathy Buckley, who was a deaf comedian. And I was like, there's so much work. And at that time, I just wasn't considered a dramaturg. But then somebody said, well, you're basically dramaturging. And I'm like, you're right. So people started to ask me to help them. And I did it for free for a long time. And my accountant yelled at me and said, you need to make some money in this area because you're taking deductions. And I'm like, yeah, I used to, but I'm OLD. So I started to charge and love it. And it's so creative and it's so interesting because several of the people have interviewed a lot of different dramaturgs / directors because it's sort of one and the same in a solo show, in my opinion. Because you're crafting so much. And they're like, people came to the table and said, you have to do this, this, and this. And I'm like, I don't do that. I come to you and say, Robert, what do you want to say? Who are you? What's important to you? What is the show about? And I use Chorus Line as an example all the time because that was, what's his name? I forget. Michael Bennett. Right? He went around like Studs Terkel with a recorder and got the stories of the dancers and made a show. And it just wasn't vibing. It wasn't killing. And I think it was Buck Henry came in and they paid him as a dramaturg. I don't know if he ever got credit, but I read some article a long time ago. And he said, you need some tension. So he created the drama between the disembodied voice director and Cassie, the older one. They'd had an affair. And that was all it took. It just needed a tiny bit. And I often say that solo shows are so fussy in particular. It's like plucking your eyebrows. It's like shaping your eyebrows. You pull one and you're like, ow, it's terrible. And then you pull the other one, you're like, that's perfect. Everything has to mean something. And I love the XYZ axis because you can do whatever you want.
Do you think people that are drawn to doing a solo show are brave, or are they selfish? Like, I want to tell.
Some are either. Some are both. It depends. I can't answer that.
I think it's fascinating because I look at it. I went to acting school. I'm an actor. Like why I love doing shows by myself, and I'm like, what does that show us about us? It shows us that we're selfish actors, or we just maybe have a story to tell everybody.
Well, isn't there something about your story that you want to share so someone doesn't have as much pain as you did, maybe, or someone has a clearer roadmap, or maybe you would like to shine a little flashlight on the path ahead of them?
Yeah.
And laugh and sing, so that's what I like to find. A lot of times I go, and then, that's not a show.
Right. I love that you're working with United Solo. We've done a lot of work with United Solo and have people on who are in United Solo, like Backwards, Forwards, Back, who's coming back to United Solo on November 14th, directed by you. And you won awards for this piece. What is it? And it's going to be Veterans Day, November 11th.
It's the 14th. I have to look it up myself. No. I have to look it up myself. November 14th, Friday. It's a Veterans Week. It's Veterans Week.
Okay, gotcha.
For sure. You were right. It's an incredible piece by Jackie Goldfinger. It's a written piece, so it's not Elle's story, but he is such an incredible actor, and he's a veteran. And to have a veteran who's a brilliant actor who came to acting after his military service, right, it's incredibly powerful. I get goosebumps. It's an incredibly powerful piece. It's about a veteran who comes home. He's haunted by ghosts. And in order to, I don't want to tell too much, but in order to rectify a situation at home, where he's forced to go through virtual reality. And it was Jackie wrote it based on an article about virtual reality therapy for PTSD victims, not victims, they don't like that word, PTSD sufferers, to get through it and learn how to handle it and how to manage it. It doesn't go away, like your trauma doesn't go away, but you learn how to manage it. And it's such a good piece. She interviewed a bunch of soldiers and talked to a bunch of people with PTSD who'd gone through virtual reality, talked the virtual reality piece. And Elle did it in Florida. This was our New York premiere here at the United Solo Festival, and we're doing it again. And the United Solo Festival thing is, if you get people to come, if you get an audience, they give you up to 8 shows.
Wow.
Right. So the more the merrier. We'd love people to come and see it on November 14th. Last year we did 3 shows of it. And he's incredible. He's an incredible guy. So, and there are 2 other actors that were veterans that we worked with on War Words with New York Rep, and I'd love for them. This would be something to tour around the country with multiple actors, possibly. Or
yes,
it's a story that needs to be told. Thank you for letting me talk.
No, I love what they do over there, and I love the idea that people can get this. It's unitedsolo.org, everyone. The unitedsolo.org is where you can get your tickets, and you can see the incredible lineup. And it's a whole entire week or weekend of all of these shows done in New York City that you need to, and it's affordable, and you're going to see great stories.
Yes, and it's United Solo Festival is at Theater Row in the center of Midtown, and they actually go for 5 weeks. I feel like
I think so. You might be right.
And anybody in the industry it's a showcase contract. So, if you're an industry person and you want to be able to help Elle or us or the show, we're trying to get a 4-week run somewhere. If you're a possible investor, you can come let us know and come for free.
UnitedSolo.org. Go find out the dates and all the information.
Yeah, thanks.
How can we find more information about you?
SueWolf.com. SueWolf.com.
SueWolf.com. What do you want to accomplish? What's next for you?
I would love to do some solo festivals, some solo shows for Audible or Netflix or HBO or, any one of those. So I'm just kind of, I had to decide to get back to work. The sign for
But
work.
do you want to go up on stage and tell the Sue Wolf?
No. You can do that for me. No.
Why?
I have no desire to ever be on the stage in front of the camera. No, I do not. Just like this is enough. This is good for me. I'm good.
And did you have a big entertainment career. You've done a whole bunch of work. You've worked with a lot of people. You still are out here working even when you say you're retired. And you were able to have a personal life. How do you balance? We were talking, you had a personal life. You dealt with family, you dealt with, friendships, you dealt with all sorts of other things that are not fancy showbiz stories or work stories. How did you balance it all?
It was not easy. I will be honest with you. It was not easy. As a woman, back when I started, you kind of had to choose. So I came to Happiness Late in Life, and, that's why I decided to foster. After 9/11, I was crying for 2 weeks at home, not working, which was very rare for all of us. You had to keep moving in the industry. And I decided, oh my God, I am so selfish. I'm such a useless piece of what? What could I do? And I was a child. I was actually a child. And I thought, there by the grace of God go I. I was adopted I was fostered at 6 months and adopted at 2.5 by my Holocaust survivor parents. And neither of them are Jewish. That's a whole nother story. That's for a book. But I just have a connection with foster kids. So I went through the training like you.
I did.
Right?
I'm a newbie.
Yeah. It's a serious thing. Like you have, they need to do background checks. They need to make sure you know how to handle the trauma that the kids have gone through, depending on the age.
They go through your money, like your finances, your bills. Like it is an invasive process.
It's a financial colonoscopy.
I said, oh, okay. You want to see all my pay stubs, all my bills, all my savings accounts? Are you judging? Are you going to judge? Okay, here.
Did they come to your house and
yes.
With the broom and bang on the ceiling and
Listen,
test every one of your smoke detectors?
Yes. But see, my husband is a banker. He is not a show busy guy, and he takes things very procedure. He's a policy procedure man. So he read that book, and he had he did things that were in the book that they never checked. Like he had prescription Tylenol locked in a safe and the wine locked in a box. And he had, he turned the hot water heater down so the hot water wasn't hot. And then afterwards I was like, they didn't even check any of it. And he was like, it doesn't matter. The workbook says that these are the protocols and procedures. We did it.
I needed him so badly. I was him and you.
You did it.
I'm better you than him.
And God bless him, because I was like, oh, come on. They're not going to say no to us. And then they came in like, well, where's the title to your car? Where's your registration? Print out your car insurance. Where's your homeowner's insurance? I said, oh my, this is worse than an audit.
Yeah.
But it's serious business.
It is. And unfortunately, the very first class I went to was in California, West Side Children's Center. I remember that. And there was a handful of people who were doing it like a puppy mill.
Yeah. I met some too.
And they said very clearly, if you are here for that, we will find you out. You will not make it through. And the next class, half of them were gone. That is scary. And anyone that was in my house, my parents, we all, little immigrant parents, we all had to go through CPR, background checks, and that's good. Thank God. And they still get through. Let me tell you, the place where Kyrie was, very scary. Off camera, we can talk about that. But it's a blessing for anyone who wants to step up and help. and you need a village, and you find your respite care people, and that's why I do Foster Your Dream, because we try to figure out a dream in a kid, and my passion is theater, so I've taken over 5,000 kids to Broadway shows that are foster kids. Mm-hmm.
I want to come with you. I want to help.
It's dried up. It's dried up, Robert. It's dried up
because the money is gone. It is a real situation. People don't understand what organizations, charities, and things are going through, and the opportunities that have been washed away in this country. And this is all stuff that it's not about. There's not people who want to do it. There's no means to do it.
Yeah, and also COVID really crushed Broadway, as you know, crushed theater badly. And so they have to answer to the investors now. And we used to get a lot of free tickets. I used to be able to call up and say, hey, I have a family that wants to go to Lion King. And they'd be like, okay, in the dead of winter, January, you can bring whatever. So, even Hamilton, I'd love to get 8 tickets a month. That's all, from them, because then we could do a family, we could do a group home, we could do, whatever, because it takes time to organize that with the kids.
Yep.
And unfortunately, they don't really want to go see smaller productions. They want to see MJ the musical and the big musicals. And it's very hard to get that right now. So we're pivoting. We're trying to pivot.
If there's anything I can ever do, I'm going to annoy you and bother you, and I'm gonna keep you posted. You're going to be my foster role model, and
your foster spur. Do this.
And I think everything happens for a reason. So I was really excited to be able to see you and to talk to you on the show. I'm so proud of the work that you do, and how you ushered in a lot of entertainment and joy to a lot of people through your work. And that makes the world a better place. And that's why we do what we do. So I'm grateful to talk to you.
Thank you. And you do the same thing. You shine the light on people that, have great stories and need to be heard. So I appreciate you.
SueWolf.com, everybody. Make sure you see one of the 5 upcoming giant, beautiful solo shows and work that she's got coming up. And get your and make sure you follow and stay up to date. And my show's your show anytime. Come on back.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for what you do. Love it.